everyone, and welcome to my channel. It's Jessica here at Hell Notes for Beauty. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. If you're an oldie, thank you for always sticking with me, and welcome once again. So what are we going to talk about today? This is something that I've been doing for quite some time, but I realized that I've never shared with you guys. A couple of years ago, I did post on my channel a video on the toxic chemicals surrounding feminine hygiene products. So since then, I've just started experimenting on my own and doing my own feminine hygiene products and just experimenting with a few things here and there, and I think I found what works for me. So I thought I'd share with you guys and see, if you'd be curious enough as well to check out what works for you. But before we get into that, I wanted to just give you a basic rundown of what the vagina is, the feminine hygiene products, and all that. Now, disclaimer, this is a homework project because I am becoming a holistic health practitioner. So I am working on my certification. So I'm using this as my homework assignment for a little bit extra credit. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys give me that support. But it's so funny because a lot of the things that I'm learning in that course, I've already talked about and posted on my blog or on my channel. So it's like pretty much coming full circle, but I'm glad to be doing it and to be documenting it here because, of course, my channel is all about that beauty, spirituality, and holistic health as well. So I just want to let you guys know because I'll be on my channel pretty often in the next few months. I'm documenting a lot of my recipes and holistic practices and so forth, and see, maybe we get behind the scenes, behind school and all that. But before we get distracted talking all about that, I wanted to just touch base on the vagina and the misconceptions and whatnot. So basically, now with all the vaginal steaming that we have going on and the whole social media movement, that has been so beneficial for us to learn more of ways to care for ourselves, especially in the feminine area, the vaginal area. So vaginal steaming, yoni steaming, just a lot of new products as well. I also used, before I started using this, and mentioned in my previous video that I was using the honey pot wash, and there's just been so many different products, emerging products and makers that are really contributing to the natural health of our feminine areas. So to start, what is the vagina? First of all, the first misconception is that everyone talks about the vagina, but they're talking about the outer area. Well, there's two parts to the vagina. We do have the outer area, which is very much correctly known as the vulva. Let me just make sure. Yes, here, homework, checking my homework. The vulva area really is the outer area, which consists of the pubic area, which is the area where our hair is. So that's why it's so important to have, again, a good, proper regimen, hygienic regimen. For the pubic area, that's the first area where there's sweating, where we're shaving, where hair is growing, ingrown hair and whatnot. So it's important, again, to have proper hygienic routines for the pubic area just to start. Then we go down, we have the clitoris, and then we have the vulva, the flaps and all that, and the lips and all that, and then we have the anus. So that is the whole anatomy of the vagina. Its outer area, which is known as the vulva. Now, the vagina is the inner parts. The inner parts are the reproductive system, which is the ovaries, the fallopian tube, the uterus, the bladder, rectum, and all that. So that is what the vagina is consists of. So these are outer parts, and then we have the inner parts. Today, we're going to be talking about basic ways that you can care for yourself in a hygienic sense for your vulva, your outer area of your vagina. So now that we got that out of the way, and it's very, very simple, but I think sometimes we tend to overcomplicate it because there's so many misconceptions. But once you go out and learn for yourself, you'll be able to get a better understanding of what the vagina is, what the vulva area is, and better educate yourself and better give yourself proper care and hygiene. The vagina is actually self-cleaning and doesn't require much interference from soaps, douches, or anything of that nature. Chemicals or any of that, perfumes, powders, The vagina does not need any of that, and neither does the vulva as well. But the vagina internally is self-cleaning. The only thing that the vagina really relies on you to provide it with is proper nutrition, foods, and also water. Water is so essential to just keep that proper balance of things just flowing, of discharge, of detoxing, and again, just flowing things. So if you notice when you urinate and you don't drink enough water, your urine can be a little bit cloudy and too yellow, and sometimes even have a strong smell. At least for me personally, when I have a lot of sugar, I'm not keeping up with my water, drinking enough water, I will notice that my urine is a little bit cloudy. And I know it's a little bit TMI, but we really got to get real with what we're talking about. So especially if you are in tune with your body, you'll notice those differences. And for me, I notice it completely, especially overnight. So drinking water is very essential for me, very important for my personal system, especially important to keep odors at bay and just to make sure that you're keeping your body in balance. The vaginal area relies on that very much so. So it's very important to be very conscious of that. Be conscious of the foods that we eat, the type of sugars that we consume on a regular basis. Especially for me, I do have a big problem with that, and a lot of sugary drinks really contributes to a lot of yeast infections and candida buildup. So those things are really important to keep in mind, especially when we're working on vaginal imbalances that we're dealing with. So if you want to work towards that and healing yourself, I think the first thing and the first recommendation is to drink enough water and really pay attention to internally. Glands in the vagina produces discharge to naturally clean the vagina out. So again, it's not necessary to have so many chemicals, so many soaps, detergents, perfumes in the vaginal area, because again, the vagina is self-cleaning and really relies on your diet and consumption of water to really keep itself in balance. So keeping those things in mind is truly very important. So now that we have just a basic understanding of what the vagina is and how to properly understand it so we can give it the proper care that it needs, we can get into today's tutorial. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to share with you one of my favorite recipes, a vaginal wash recipe that I've been using for years. Now, if you haven't watched my last video, please make sure to link down below where I talk about truly the harsh chemicals and just the billion-dollar industry in vaginal care products that really doesn't cater to us as far as our health is concerned. So that really prompted me to do my own, and I've been very comfortable with it since. Now, there are some products out on the market, such as the honey pot, I think is Woo or something of that nature. And I also know my girl, Gadi over at Glow Confidently. She also makes her own natural feminine washes as well that you can get your hands on. So again, researching and finding out what other producers and creators are out there in order to offer us as far as organic and natural feminine care products is truly a million out there. It's just a matter of finding which works best for you and you are most comfortable with. And if that's not the case, then you can always make your own. It's just about being aware of the products and ingredients that can work for you on a natural and holistic. All right, so let's get into the tutorial. So the first thing that you're going to need is 100% aloe water. And I get this at my local natural health food store, but you can also find it on Amazon, on GNC as well. And I use my aloe water for beauty purposes. I put it in a bottle and just spray my face with it just to refresh it, especially during the summer. And also just to keep any bacteria and just keep that balance of just moisture, not over dry my skin, especially now during the winter as well. I love to mix this with my rose water and use it as a spritzer before I put on my daily moisturizer. Let that sit in so that way you can just give it a little bit more moisture, and my skin truly loves that. But the main ingredient for your vaginal wash is this George's aloe water, which again is so natural and pure that you could even drink this. This is the one that I keep up here for beauty purposes in my beauty room, but I do have one in my refrigerator that I add this to drinks, to smoothies, to my teas. and things of that nature. So I truly love this. It's truly versatile. It's very cleansing and detoxing, and it's very beneficial just to keep your skin rejuvenated. So using this for the vaginal area is very good because it's sensitive. It doesn't have any chemicals, added ingredients, and it's truly perfect just for what we'll be using it for. The next thing that I use, that it is optional, but I love to use, is my rose water. Now this is a rose water facial toner, but this one is just as natural as well, and I love to use this also to spray it on my face before I put on my moisturizer. But I love to use this also for my face masks, such as my mud masks, just to give it that beautiful extra scent, but also to retain moisture, which rose water is very good for. Now some people aren't too good with rose water, especially for their face. Like for me, is the opposite. I can't use coconut oil or coconut water at all on my face, but rose water really works for me. So again, look for things that you're not allergic to, that you know that you won't have a reaction to. But typically rose water and aloe water are very beneficial, fragrant free, don't have any added chemicals. So depending again on the personal constitution of your own, this may or may not work for you. But rose water is really optional, but for me is a must. I always use it for everything, especially for my vaginal washes. So one of my favorite ingredients. The next thing that I love to use either vitamin E oil or jojoba oil. Jojoba oil is truly my favorite because it has more of that sebum consistency and is more in line with the type of oils that our skin naturally produces. But I couldn't find the jojoba oil at my local drugstore, so I got this Nurturing Sweet Almond Oil, which is just as good and beneficial, and I've used it before as well. It's super light, it doesn't leave any sort of residue or consistency, and my skin tends to absorb it very nicely. So we'll be adding this to the vaginal wash as well to give us that balance and that extra moisture. The next thing we have is 18-in-1 Hemp Baby Unscented Pure Castile Soap by Dr. Bronner's, and I truly love this because it's so versatile. You can use this to wash your dishes. Sometimes when I run out of my Dawn soap, I use this with a little bit of water and it works just the same. I've also used this as a hand wash. I use it to clean my makeup brushes, to clean around the house. So truly, truly very versatile. And I also love to use it for my vaginal feminine wash as well. A little bit of this goes a long way. So for anything that you'll be using it for, make sure that you don't overuse it because it can be a little bit harsh, especially for the skin. It can dry it out. I've used this also as a shampoo, and it can dry out a little bit if you're not careful with your measurements. So just a teaspoon of this in our vaginal wash will be just enough to give us that sudsy feeling, that soapy feeling, but without overdoing. In addition to my Dr. Bronner's soap, I've also used this Earth Essentials, and as you can see, I've used this quite a bit. Although the other one is unscented, doesn't have any scent, this one has this really nice peppermint oil scent to it, and it's also very refreshing, so that's why I like using it for my feminine wash. But this is good, just as good as the as this one as well, but it has that peppermint oil, which again gives it that fresher, clean feeling, as does this too, but extra peppermint gives it that extra boost. And I've used quite a bit. I'm almost done of this, so I'll be using this one. But any Castile soap that you like that is familiar to you or is unscented can work just as well for this recipe. Then you're going to need a measuring cup. I have this one that takes up to 8 ounces or 1 cup, which is just enough for our dispenser, and we'll get into that as well. So these are the dispensers that I got. I got these on Amazon. I think all three I got them for like $8 or $10 or something of that range, but they're just these foam dispensers, a set of 3. They're BPA free. They're really good to use with Castile soap as well, so that was one of the reasons why I got it. And again, it's very easy. I keep one of these in my shower, and then the other one I keep it near my sink or my toilet area, just so I can freshen up throughout the day. But I like to keep one in the shower so I don't have to keep pulling it out and reaching into the shower if I need it in the morning or throughout the day, I have an extra one by my bathroom, so that way I can use it handy. I also have a second bathroom on my second floor, so I keep that one as well that my boyfriend uses, and yes, he uses this. It can be a feminine wash for women, but men can also use it as well. I think that area, as far as men's private area, is neglected as well. And yes, there's washes and soaps, but we can't use that. Soaps and fragrances is not good to keep clean our feminine area. So I think that applies for men as well. So they can use this if they want to. This is, again, ultra sensitive to use, and anyone can use. So let's get into the recipe. So now what I'm going to do is take my 100% aloe water and add it. Make sure your hands are clean. Before I started this, I make sure that I wash my hands, because you don't want to contaminate it or have anything interfering with your recipe. So you're going to be adding a cup of this into your dispenser, and this is the dispenser that we have here. We're going to be adding this to the dispenser that we're going to be adding our ingredients to. And here we go. So this takes up to, I think, about 8 ounces, and it's good to just leave a little bit of space. So as you can see here, we've added our aloe water to the dispenser. Our soap, Castile soap. I'm going to be actually using the unscented baby soap from Dr. Bronner's, and we're going to be using, actually I had taken out a little bit of the soap, so I am just going to put it back in for demonstration purposes so I can show you. But this is the spoon that I typically use. This is a disposable plastic spoon. I like to use plastic spoons so that way there's no metal or anything interfering. So if you have measuring spoon set, try to get one that is of plastic as opposed to stainless steel. So here we are, we're going to be adding the soap, just a little bit of this goes a long way. It is not necessary to add a lot. When I first started my recipes, I would be adding quite a little bit more than I needed to, and that was causing me to just have a lot of dryness around that area. So it's not necessary, just a little bit, 1 teaspoon, add it to your water, and you already have your soap in there, which is, I think, more than enough. If you can see it, it's pretty much diluting inside into the water. So that's just enough soap that you need. You may think that you need more, but you really don't. Again, the vagina is very much self-cleaning, so it doesn't require so many harsh chemicals and soaps in order for you to feel clean. So now we're going to be going with our sweet almond oil. And this is to provide it with that moisture, to give it that extra moisture, and just to give it that balance without over drying the skin, because sometimes that soap can be a little bit too much, at least for me. So balancing it out with a little bit of oil, jojoba oil, a little bit of sweet almond oil, which I love, and it's just so amazing for the skin. I add about the same spoonful of oil that I added of soap. Not a lot, just a little bit of oil, and add it to our concoction here. It's gonna sit up a little bit, but once we shake it, it will mix in with the soap along the way. So that's that. We have a concoction. We are almost done. At this point, you can either add a capful of vinegar with the mother. That is very cleansing and purifying as well. But the last thing that I like to add is essential oil, and essential oils are great to not only give it that scent and just that extra touch, but also to take advantage of the benefits that essential oils have. Now this is ylang ylang, and is very soothing, and it smells amazing. I wish you guys could smell, but ylang ylang has been one of my favorites, and I like to add at least 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough, just to give it, again, that balancing antibacterial protection to my wash. So we have that in place. We got a little spill here, but we'll be all right. Of course, I didn't have enough paper towels, but that'll do. And I did fill it up to the top, so make sure that you give it a little bit of space. But starting to smell so amazing. But here we have it. Here we have our feminine wash with ylang ylang and just a little bit of soap. So Look at that. We have the foam, and it just foams amazingly, and it feels so soft on the hands. So again, you can use this as a hand wash. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more soap because I like my stuff to be a little bit more so. That is all, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in today. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to like, and if you're new, to subscribe and share as well. I thank you so much for sticking with me, and make sure to always stay weird. Until next time, see you on the flip side. Bye.